Continue with our clip 23A. We had some technical issue, and so in the 80s and 90s, they say we cannot do that. We cannot continue to be degraded as not citizens of this country. But they already know that in 1981, that a law repealed their amnesty that was given to them in the law for 1971-1972. And at the same time, we are in 1984 now, 3 years after they repealed that law. Mobutu decided and create another department, the Department of Statistics, to count or to conduct a national census. And as I've said, the census have the purpose is to control the population growth, to know how many population are residing on a soil at a particular time. And so those data can help in the implementation of the policy of that particular administration or government. And we know that it's done everywhere. It's done in this country, the United States. They do it every 10 years. So they conduct every person who lives in a residence. If a residence has 10 people in that home, whether 5 are national or legal, or the other 5 are illegal, they still put those names on that card. But the Banyarwanda decided that we cannot use this card, les fiches d'enregistrement, which we call in English, it was called the Zaire 1984 enumeration card or enumeration form. The Banyarwanda decided not only to skip it, but they decided to every agent, any census agent who was coming to ask for their names or to identify them that they have to fill that card, was either being bribed or being killed. And that was on one hand. On the second hand, the government also, who have collected, who have paid or employed many agents in every county, in every sub-province, they had to make sure that all those agents were doing their job. So those who were not able to count every population, every member of every household, they were either put to jail or they were sacked. But what the Banyarwanda were doing were paying them. So you pay me, and then I put your name as a Congolese of a local tribe, not as Mnyarwanda. For example, we have on those cards, on those fiches de recensement Zaïrois in 1984, there were the colons, and all those colons have from zone or city, collectivité, meaning the kingdom, localité, the below the kingdom or group or grouping or groupement. We had the name and the surname. We had the date and place of birth. We had the name of your father, the name of your mother. We have the name of your tribe. We had the name of your clan. We had the zone of origin. We had the name of the family. We had the number of immatriculation. We had your profession. We had the name of your principal residence. We had your maternal language or your maternal, your mother tongue. So, and then we had the last line was the date that card was filled. So all those items were on those card or fiche de recensement. But the Banyarwanda now, they will fill every part of that fiche or that card, but they will skip the tribu or the tribe. They will skip the clan or the clan, and they will skip the localité and collectivité. They will skip that. Why? Because they did not want them to be identified as foreign, because on that particular tribe and clan, they were writing, the government told the agent they have to write étranger. they have to write foreigner. Why? Because they wanted to know how many population we have in the Congo, on the entire country, how many nationals we have, and how many foreign nationals we have. And because at that time they wanted also to create the system of resident card. Because we have those resident card in other countries. In Rwanda we have resident card. In Burundi we have resident card. In Uganda we have resident card. If today, as a Congolese, you go to Rwanda today, they will hand you a resident card. That means it's a card to show that you are a resident, you are not a national. But at that time in 80s and 90s, we did not have the resident card for foreign nationals. So when they create this department to conduct a national census, was for that purpose. Not only to control or to know how many population we have in Congo, but also to help the foreigners that are in the Congo, to help them identify themselves, at the same time to give them an identity or card that will help them to move around freely without any objection or without any problem in the country. But the Banyarwanda did not want that. So what they were doing were to do what? First, they sabotaged that census, they skipped it, they hid their identity, they killed those who were putting their name on those cards, on fiche de recensement, or they bribed them. And we will see in part 2, in part 23b, how they manipulated again further that strategy, how they manipulated that census. Because now they wanted now to kill every member of local tribal leadership, to kill them, to disappear. Then in another clip, we'll show you how they destroyed all the information, all the data that existed, all the archive that existed. That was either before the 1996 conflict or after the 1996 conflict. So we hope that you understand, as we are explaining the strategy the Banyarwanda have been using in Congo to gain that access to that ancestral rights or status, or to gain those traditional rights that they know that they are only reserved to the indigenous that have been there before the creation of the Congo Free State in 1984 to 1908. But they don't want to hear that. And so when they come outside the Congo, as they are here in the United States, as they're in Canada, in other developed countries, they explain that they are from Mulenge based on those information, that because the government cannot go and trace them, there's no document that will trace them, that they came in such time, that the document that they can go today and they review those enumeration card to see who was the son of such, who was living in this kingdom, who was from this tribe or this clan. Because we know that Tutsi is not a clan, Hutu is not a clan. So when it comes to this card, they could not put clan such because they don't have it. They do not want to identify themselves with any clan in the Congo. On the tribe area, they could mention Banyarwanda, but they do not want to be called or identified as Banyarwanda. So they have to skip it. They have to open your eyes. When we spoke with those census agents, they told us that when the Munyarwanda was coming out on his term or her term to fill that card, they'll open their eyes to show you that if you do that, I'll kill you. Or if you do that, what I'll do, I'll bribe you. So what those agents were doing were they leave that part empty. So when they go home, in their home, now they feel it, that this card belongs to such Munyarwanda, and the tribe here is Munyarwanda, and the zone of origin is either Rwanda. They put either Rwanda or they put another province based on the information that they know. Because remember, the Banyarwanda have been living with the Bafulero, the Bavira, the Babembe, the Barega, and the Bashi for long. So we know them. They know them. They know their father, they know their grandfather, they know where they come from. And though they speak the Kifuliru, the Kibembe, the Kivira, or the Kirega, but they still speak their language, their local language, the Kinyarwanda. But so we know them. our fathers and our brothers and our sisters went to school with them in the same classes, in the same primary school or secondary school and university. So we know them. But they did not want their identity to be mentioned on this census form. And so, my friend, we're going to stop here for those two information that we just gave in the previous part 23A, and then this part 23B, but it's one video. So when you listen to this one, please take another time to listen to this one to complete the two. So they are both about how the Banyarwanda sabotage the census. They did not want to be counted as population living on the Congolese soil. So either they killed those agents or they bribed them because they did not want their names to go to Kinshasa to be identified as Banyarwanda. And at the same time, when they were doing that census in 1984, remember, we had they already adopted the name of Mulenge in 1979 with their deputy Muhoza Gisaro, who was elected deputy or representative not because he was a Congolese, but because he was known coming from Uvira. That was the only information the government had, that he's from Uvira, but they did not know that he was in Nyarwanda. So, and at that time, when people were living in a dictatorship, so they could not express their needs or their problem against the corruption that was going on. And also, we have to remember that Bisengimana was in Kinshasa. So the Banyarwanda, what they were doing, they were relying on their leadership that were in Kinshasa to help them go further in the government. Go further in the government. And so we know that, for example, Gisaro, when he adopted that name in 1979, and he asked all the Banyarwanda of Tutsi origin who were living in the South Kivu to adopt that name as their new identity. But in Kinshasa, they did not know. They did not know what was going on in South Kivu at that time. So when they found themselves in Kinshasa and they explained to people there that we are Banyamulenge, the people accept them as such. But the population, the local population will tell them, no, they are not. They are Banyarwanda. These are the proof, but the government will not understand that. And so even they could not go through those census card to find out if exactly it was the case. But it wasn't the case because there was nothing to show on those cases. Because most of the time those cards were not getting back to Kinshasa. Because they were either destroyed or hide because those agents were paid in cow or in money, or the agents were killed, or those cards were destroyed. So they could not. And today, for example, we have, they continue with the same system. And so we have Muhoza today, who is one of the son of that Muhoza Gisaro. He is the Minister of Infrastructure and Public Works. And so what do you think that minister going to do? That minister, what he's going to do is not only to work on infrastructure in those regions that they claim to be their ancestral land, as they did when other ministers were Minister of Immigration. So they have to make sure that their government is helping them to be settled, to be recognized as indigenous. But to this day, many Congolese government officials, they don't know how many Banyarwanda we have in Congo. They don't know. Why? Because all those information, those archives were destroyed, were burned, and those who could be witnesses were killed. And so, my friend, we're going to stop here. Again, we are trying here to show you and to tell you that the Banyarwanda that you see today, that tells you that, or they claim to be from Mulenge, they are not from Mulenge. They are pure Banyarwanda. They came from Rwanda. They live in Congo. They lived in Congo. They become Congolese. But they are not satisfied. They continue to claim that ancestral right as people that were there when the Berlin Conference started in 1885. And even though they were there, in numbers, but they were not part of that kingdom, because before in